welcome to Your Aunties Could Never. I'm Auntie AK and I'm here with
Auntie Farah.
Auntie Nana.
And Auntie Sade.
How you guys doing?
Good.
All good, man.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Okay.
All right, who are
Go on.
our enemies of progress? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Okay, right. I'm putting on the table Adidas.
Whoa.
Yeah, because of their
Mate, take your top
recent,
off, bruv.
I know, innit?
their recent how do you say it?
Hypocrisy.
Hypocrisy, but hypocritical.
Hypocritical. Hypocritical.
Hypocritical move that they made in renegotiating a contract with Kanye West.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not hear
They've come
about
Yes.
begging. They've come begging.
Yeah, but that's because they got billions that they can't get rid of.
Exactly.
So shame on you.
Exactly. That's what. Yeah, Adidas. I'm not impressed with them.
It's ironic.
I'm not impressed, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
I'm not surprised either, but I'm just like, it's just so disappointing that they're in this position, that they have to do it, that they're saying that they stand for something and actually they stand for nothing.
They stand for
the
the
green.
green.
Stand for money.
They stand for
But
money.
that's what Kanye was ranting about. That was literally his thing. I can say anything about anybody, and because of the power I have, they will come back round. And they will. And they have.
Yeah.
So, and it's probably renegotiated. Well, it has been. It's renegotiated on his terms. They can't change up any of his designs. They can't do new colorways.
So basically what he wanted
Everything he
before this
wanted.
all happened.
He has now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
when they've sold everything, he can leave, which is what he wanted to do, and he
Yeah.
can carry on.
So basically everything
He
that he
wins.
wanted.
He won. So, when people were saying Kanye was mad, and he's just set out,
I mean, he still is.
but he set out a blueprint of when he came back and said, I know exactly what I'm doing. There we are. As he said himself, one man should have all that power. He
No
shouldn't.
one man should have all that power.
He shouldn't. He definitely shouldn't.
But he got it.
He definitely shouldn't. at
Anyway,
all.
my enemy of progress is a gentleman by the name of James Bradley. He's some American dude. I don't even know what he does. It says he's a veteran, a father, a defender of the US Constitution, whatever the fuck that means. But basically, he was online and he said, I'll apologise to black people for slavery when they apologise to me for crime.
To him specifically.
That's what he said. Those words. I'm on his Twitter and that's what he said. I'll apologise to black people for slavery when they apologise to me for crime.
People should turn up at his house every day. Every black person. Sorry, ringing his doorbell. Sorry. That, if you really want that to happen, mate.
And who asked him to apologise for slavery then? Why is it that all white people think that they're being asked? You're actually not. It's just institutions. Like, you guys don't have to apologise.
You don't even work for the government, mate. So
Like, who cares?
The two are so completely different. I just make it make sense, innit? That's the thing for me. Make it make sense. How can you say you'll apologise for slavery when black people apologise for crime? Black people fucking committed crime on your land because of fucking slavery and all that time. We could go back there. There's so many reasons why black people are in jail, and it's the system. It goes back to the system.
Exactly.
These, for big crimes, little crimes that white people commit. It's just like insane to me that he actually put this in print. He went online and said that shit. I'll apologise for slavery when black people apologise for crime. You know what I'd like to do? Punch him in the face. Punch him in the face and say sorry.
I was just about to say,
how
would you apologise after?
how can we apologise for all crime, though?
But that's what I mean, all crime.
All crime.
Because it wasn't
He
slavery
didn't say
crime.
black crime. He said all crime.
Is there even
They
such a
should
thing as
cry.
black crime?
Well, you know what he's
Yeah.
trying to
Make
say,
it
innit?
make sense,
They're
innit?
right,
He's trying to, because also if he's as racist as he is, he should actually be celebrating us doing crime on each other, because black people tend to
But it doesn't.
Sorry.
But it doesn't even make sense. Like,
people tend to kill their
what
own
came
anyways.
first?
That's what
No,
I'm
but
trying to
what
say.
came
Sorry.
first? Like,
Anyway.
it doesn't
So
make
if someone
sense.
did apologise to him,
Yeah, what's going to
What
happen?
happened?
so and if he apologises for slavery, then what?
Exactly.
Then
What's
what?
going to
'Cause who
happen?
are you? Are you,
This is it.
are you able to give me my coins?
I believe that
Nothing.
we should all go to his house and say sorry.
I should be able to
I
slap
agree
him.
with him.
Sorry.
All he's
No,
gonna
but
do-
I
Sorry.
agree. Let's go.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Slap him.
Sorry.
Who's your
Yeah,
enemy of
so not
progress,
punch.
Auntie
Let me
Nana?
slap.
All right, my enemy of progress is, let me get his name right. It's Grant Cardone. I think that's how you pronounce it. Grant Cardone. He is an entrepreneur who speaks to quite a few young people about how to get into entrepreneurship, mindset, all of that. And generally, his base is very black. He went on a podcast, two things. He went on a podcast at one stage and said he would like a pass to say the N-word because he feels that he should be able to say it. He just needs a black person
why?
give him that pass.
Which black person? This is like everyone saying sorry. Which black person?
He didn't say. He just said, I just need a pass from a black person to say the N-word.
But why do you need to say it?
I should be able to say it.
But why do you need to say it?
Why do you
What's
want
his
to?
why?
Well, that's what I don't
Those
understand.
are the questions.
These people that the non-blacks that have this raging desire to say the word, like, why?
And he really
Just
was
'cause they
animated
can't.
about, I really want to be able to say it. And then he was on another podcast and he says that he has to use street talk and dumb down his speech to get to his audience base, which is generally black. And woman was like, really? And he's like, I'm telling you, this is what I have to do. I can't say big words because it just goes over their heads. Yes, he is a millionaire off of the backs of black people buying his courses. We need to stop doing that.
Yeah,
It's an
boycott
NWO
this
process.
man.
Wait, hold on. Wow. Why did he even? How did he become a thing? How did he become a
This is how
thing?
it goes. That's how it goes, though. It's like you don't know who you're following. That there is knowledge in what he's saying, but then there's an arrogance. It's like people sell to black people because they're going to buy from them, but that doesn't mean that they have any respect. And he just got a bit above himself and started talking about
And
it.
that's the point
I
now.
hate him.
He feels
So
like he
what's
can just
his
say it,
name?
innit?
Grant Cardone.
Okay, what's his platform called? Is it just his
I
name?
think it's just his name. Everywhere it's
Okay.
Grant Cardone.
Guys.
He tweets as well. He's on
How do you
Insta.
spell the surname?
It's Cardone.
Okay, guys, stop following him.
Black
If you
people,
follow him,
remove yourself from him.
check your the people around you, their phones and their accounts. Unfollow. Everyone
Unfollow.
unfollow him. All
By force.
platforms, just unfollow him.
That is
Even
true.
if you're not
And any black apologists,
everybody
don't try it.
unfollow him.
And follow the apologists for him as well.
That's the one.
Um,
He
my-
hasn't even had anybody apologising for him. He's just having people being like,
Fuck you.
don't buy from him.
Yeah. Bun that, dude.
My enemy of progress is this fucking cough that tried to attack my chest just now. And then the other enemy of progress is someone in my neighbourhood is allowing their dog to drop loads in the pathway of us people that are just walking, minding our own business. It's annoying. We go through runs where it's everyone picks after their animals and it's all good. And then we go through stage where someone thinks it's okay to allow their dogs to drop nonsense loads. It's not little, Chihuahua-sized droppings. It's big freaking, probably pit bull, Staffordshire. Was it Great
That's
Danes?
very doggist.
It is doggist. I'm being
I was
doggist.
gonna say, aren't pit bulls kind of small as well? They're not massive.
Well, they have that strong, solid body where
So
I
you think
they
they
do
do
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
checks
but
like,
not
bro,
as big as
I'm
like
being
a-
doggist.
Shaming.
I don't care. Animal
Doggist,
shaming, dog
body.
shaming, body shaming, whatever the case is, whoever that person is, stop it because it's not fair. It's
Why
really
don't you get
not
on
fair.
next door and write it in there
Yeah.
for your area? Sometimes
I
that
should
works.
actually get on next door.
you
I am
have
on
a
next door.
WhatsApp group?
No,
Okay, just put it on next door.
yeah,
And no.
because I'll probably be the most vocal because I cuss a lot.
Yeah, they'd kick you out.
Yeah, honestly. So let me not be there. I can get on next door, but even still, just be courteous. Anyway, guys, what have you heard? Guy, have you heard? And how do you lot feel about Roald Dahl's books being re-edited to be less racist? Is this the way forward? And I'm going to
See-
show you some examples. But go ahead.
My sister-in-law made a very good point, bless her. She was like, because I think they've removed the word fat. So it says, instead of it saying that fat girl or that fat boy, they've removed it and it just says enormous. And she was like,
That's worse. Enormous is worse.
It's worse to be called enormous than it is to
Can I
be
read you
called
some of the examples? So, in The Witches, the original, don't be foolish. My grandmother said, you can't go around pulling the hair of every lady you meet, even if she is wearing gloves. Just you try it and see what happens. The new 2022 edition. Don't be foolish, my grandmother said. Besides, there are plenty of other reasons why women might wear wigs, and there is certainly nothing wrong with that. In Matilda, they go on in the original version. She went on olden day sailing ships with Joseph Conrad. She went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway and to India with Rudyard Kipling. The new version says she went to 19th century estates with Jane Austen. She went to Africa with Ernest Hemingway and California with John Steinbeck.
Why?
Why?
I read all through a lot of the examples and stuff. I can see what they're trying to do. It doesn't always work. Do you know what I mean? Or in some examples, I can't remember the top of my head now, it didn't make much of a difference. Do you know what I mean? They were trying to be gender neutral if they could, or like not as offensive to women or the female characters. So like stereotypical roles or things that they, you know, at the time they thought only women did. And also, yeah, definitely the fat thing as well. Yeah, I mean, like...
Sorry, something just came to my head, like, you know, BFG.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to call him now? The slightly taller, the vertically challenged.
Overly.
Vertically challenged.
And also, he goes around blowing dreams into people's kids' bedrooms. That's a whole
Can't call him
narrative.
giant.
That's a whole narrative. What's a man going
Can't
blowing
call him
dreams?
big.
He's literally a giant, though, so that's factual.
But you can't call him big
But it
or
was
friendly.
That's
no, you
offensive.
can call him big because being a giant, you are big. That is also factual. But I think like fat in it specifically is used as a slur. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know,
Because he wrote it. And that's all there is to it. It's like he wrote it. It sets the precedence of a time. It sets history. We shouldn't just be constantly rewriting history
Exactly, I
to
agree.
our sensibilities at that present moment, because then where's the documentation? If you don't want it about, remove it, and people can find the books however they want to find it. It doesn't have to be a part of the curriculum. But you definitely shouldn't rewrite his work.
I don't know. I think they've edited Enid Blyton books as well to remove pickaninnies and things like that. She had racist terminologies like gollywogs and stuff like that.
See, they're just trying to erase
race and even
racism.
Try to act
Tom
like they weren't
Swain.
racist, didn't
Exactly.
it? It didn't happen.
Also, Huckleberry Finn removing the N word from certain books, old classics. I agree. It's like documenting a time in history, and we can move on. You can either take them out of publication and have them as a documented moment. You can refer back to them if you want to study about it, but because there's new stories to be told. Also, there's something about allowing new stories to be told. You do adaptations, you do remakes of stuff. You can have you can say this is a modernized version of Matilda or whatever these classic books are.
I don't know. I'm of the opinion that you have editions. Do you know what I mean? And like, if the old editions, they're not in publication anymore. Do you know what I mean? Or they're not publishing them anymore at the moment, then they're harder to get anyway. But I think if they're going to be like in schools, if they're going to be like books that are in the libraries, or do you know what I mean? Or in part of the curriculum as well, kind of thing, then yeah, they should be edited. 100%. Like,
I think they have to have the writer's permission. I'm really not okay with people's works being changed in their death. I actually just don't. That doesn't sit well with me. That's like, where's their autonomy to actually what they produced into the world?
But let's look at it this way.
I don't believe
When
in
you
that,
do, when books are translated into another language, a sentence might not make sense once it's translated.
Yeah.
So they change it slightly,
As
don't
into
they?
how it was originally written, because of how language.
Because of how language
fine.
works.
It needs to be localized.
But to take it out, to take words out and put in different ones because it's to a time's sensibility. In 50 years' time, we don't actually know what is going to be the PC standards anymore, and it may actually go back. We don't know. So I'm uncomfortable with that.
I think it will always change. I think they will always edit, and there'll be new editions. So we'll just have the edition for our time. Anyway.
Oh, that film that the other day, he's the enemy of progress.
Right, and he's
Ben
defending
Stiller,
it. Yeah.
because he came out the other day and he said that I'm still not apologising for Tropic of
blackface.
Thunder.
Yeah.
He said,
Tropic Thunder,
he
that's
said,
it, yeah.
he said I'm not going to apologise. He said, and
Okay.
people need to stop asking me about it because I'm not going to apologise.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like it was
Because
wrong.
was
Like,
it Robert
actually
Downey
don't
Jr.
mind.
It's Robert Downey
did
Jr.
the blackface, and he did the black voice as well.
He was a white man playing a black man. He was
he
a
did the-
white man playing a white man playing a black man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
Because I suppose like they're seeing it is they're showing you how wrong it is in the film for a white person to do that.
But
Yeah.
you miss that after a while. It just becomes what it is.
What's
Yeah.
funny?
Was it?
I laughed my head off watching it. I thought it was jokes.
I think what was because you got to remember, even in the film, the black man saying to Robert Downey Jr. Do you know what? It's weird because I kind of understand what they're trying to do. It's like poking fun at people that think that that's
satire.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of understand, and maybe that's why Ben Stiller. Maybe he isn't an enemy. I don't know. I have to think about it
I
properly.
actually don't
But
mind
it's just
him
like,
saying that.
But I get why he's like, I'm not going to apologise because I'm think about what you're watching.
This is it.
It's not like
satire.
it's not like
that sensitivity be applied
it'd be different.
if it was about...
No, listen to me. It'd be different if it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. playing a person. If it was just Robert Downey Jr. and he's gone into this film and he's doing blackface.
Yeah, like the original.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
But I think they're poking fun at, look at the dumbness that they used to do. I kind of get it, but I don't know where I sit.
I actually think there's ways to address that topic, and I don't think him saying I'm not apologising is a very particular way of saying a kind of like F you almost.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't agree with that. I think you should be respectful and you can explain what it is and that it was at a certain time, whatever. I can't lie, when I watch the film, it's bloody hilarious, man.
Yeah.
It's jokes.
It is. It's
Because
bloody
in
hilarious.
context,
In context, it was funny.
because of what it
Yeah.
is. It's
I'm
not.
agree.
It's
fine
not a
with you,
serious
Auntie
thing.
Sade. I think it's like saying I'm not apologising, being flippant, dismissive or whatever. Maybe you're annoyed, but at the same time, there are a bunch of people who are sensitive to that.
But
and,
what
and I think he can just say one time. It doesn't take long to say, look, I understand sensitivities. I'm not apologising for it. Or whatever. Find the words, but don't just dismiss
what
it.
I will say is, I don't know if he's dismissing it, and I don't know if he has never spoken. This film's 15 years
Yeah.
old,
Yeah.
right? So we don't know if at the time he went on. He's just said he's not.
doing it now.
I don't
He's basically
remember.
saying I'm not talking about it now, isn't it?
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember there being any backlash. At
There
the
wasn't
time.
any backlash.
There were
Yeah.
conversations about it. There
No,
were,
but I mean,
but
like,
it's
it wasn't in the
we had a
like,
different-
not
it
in
was-
the domain like
Yeah,
we've
how
got a
it would
different
be now.
scale,
Like
yeah.
you couldn't do that now.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just
yeah.
couldn't.
No
Do
matter
you know
what
I
your
mean?
reasoning.
Yeah, like,
Or you
there's-
could if you had enough
thought you
caveats.
could.
You can still.
No.
People say that you can't do things now. You can if you're willing to face the fire.
You can get Robert Downey Jr. Obviously, he was big at the time. You can get a star as big as him doing that now.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Absolutely not.
Because
I
it's
think-
satire. Satirical
No,
things are
absolutely
made
not.
all
I
the
think
time.
there's going to be
I don't
criteria and
think
movements
so.
in place, but I think the right person having the right conversation with the right scripts, it can happen. I think sometimes we say that it can't. It can. I think especially if it came from a black person.
Like I think
like,
you could redo a whole. There's so many different things that you could go into. Gone with the Wind. You could remake almost everything and satirize it. I think this is for me why should he explain anything? It's satire. It's a form of comedy.
And it's like what these guys are saying.
You
I'm not going to
shouldn't have to
apologise for
explain it.
slavery. All these guys they're
I mean,
people that.
let's not put him in the same context
No,
as that.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there are people that aren't as fearful of the backlash and cancel culture who will be like, I'm rebelling against cancel culture and I'm going to get on board this project. So I think you can find somebody that's willing to do that. The other story I stumbled upon is this was basically. It's about funerals and what's your criteria for attending a funeral? Because recently the funeral of Vivienne Westwood, fashion designer, took place, and I saw it covered in the press. Of course, she's an iconic figure, but then I saw all the people attending, and in my mind I was like, who's going to be, what do you wear? If you're a celebrity, you're going to go in someone who's renowned for fashion. Even thinking about what I'm going to wear and how I'm going to look, because we know it's going to be photographed, and it started to make me think like. What's your criteria for going to a funeral, especially something that's in the public eye like that? What's your mind process? What's your thought process? And also recently we had somebody that we know that passed away, and I was making decisions about whether to go and what was my reasoning to go or not to go. I didn't end up going. What type of friendship did we have when the person was alive? We went to school together. And then we just saw each other. It was Mikey, we spoke about him on the last episode. He did AGS parties, and so I went to some of his events. But when it came down to actually going to his funeral, me and a friend were discussing how whether I should go or not.
If you should be there or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just wondering what your thoughts are about funerals and attending.
Funerals, what I wear is generally just black. I don't even think about it. I wouldn't be thinking if it was a fashion icon or not. Like, it's just paying respects. To that point. And I get the sentiments of when it's somebody that is kind of known in the community, popular wise, but actually what is your locality to them? I do feel like the church service and burial should be more close friends, family,
Me too.
and then the reception is for everybody else to pay respect. I do feel that, but I don't know. It was weird because I hadn't thought about it before with anybody else, but maybe that's because I've been closer to most people.
And it was but no brainer that you'd go.
Yeah. But it was an interesting one, actually separating out. Should I actually be there? Is that like imposing?
Yeah.
To be a part of that.
I'm not. Obviously, it's not the most fun time, I guess. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not a funeral goer in general. Like it would have to be absolute immediate family for me to go, I think. Now anyway, do you know what I mean? Because it's too triggering for me. So yeah, it's not for me. In that sense. In terms of what I'd wear though, yeah, just generally black because that's our culture. However, if it was someone like a designer, then it does make sense to consider it because that's what they do. Do you know what I mean? And there might be a dress code anyway, kind of thing, or you're celebrating in that sense. Like if you have an item or whatever kind of thing, that's what you'd wear. But nothing super deep on that, to be honest. Yeah.
I've been to far too many funerals to count, and I think it depends on the person who's passed. So you can have someone who's old and super traditional. Okay, let's take it for example. When my gran passed, we wore black. When my granddad passed, we wore black. You know, like the elders, that's kind of like something that you do. When my uncle passed, we all wore blue because that's what he, you know, Chelsea. That was his thing. We all wore blue. When my auntie passed, it was like let's celebrate her life, vibrant colours. You know, we didn't wear. It wasn't black or anything like that. I think it depends on the person. It depends on the age of the person, and it depends how you know they would want it to be celebrated. Yeah. I'm not for when people enforce their beliefs on the person that's passed, if that makes sense. Like if you know they weren't someone who went to church and was singing hymns and was very dowdy, and you can't enforce that belief. Like I remember when my auntie passed, there was a woman and she was saying to us, like an elder, an auntie, and she was like to us, you know, you should have it in the church. And we were like, she didn't want it in the church. You know, she wants to be cremated. We're going to the chapel. This is what my auntie would have wanted. And she was like very adamant, no, it needs to be here and it needs to be blah, blah, blah. But we kind of like were able to satisfy everybody what my auntie would have wanted, you know, because we did it in the chapel in the crematorium. Normally it's quite a short service. We were able to extend it because we knew there'd be a lot of people there. We were able to get like one of the top people who's like one under the bishop to come, and I can't remember what it's called, there's a special name, to come and actually do the service. So for those reasons, it was like, and we had music playing that she wanted, like, you know, things that were important to my auntie, and it was about her, and it was a beautiful service. So I think for me, I always look at what's my relationship with the person, what's my motivation for going, what would they have wanted?